Hello and welcome to another episode of Eat, Smoke, Drink. Today I am reviewing something a tad special. Because they are a closed distillery. Also the bottle is highly sought after. So it is the Macphail Connoisseurs Choice 1982 Brora. It is 40%. And I want to thank Paul for basically giving me this bottle. Cheers. So look, a little bit of I'm not really going to give you too much background on it, because if you know what Brora is, then well, you know, then you're watching this video. If you don't know what Brora is, then I suggest you find out more about it. It's a Highland whiskey, closed distillery. It is basically the old clynelish. So you know how much of a fan I am of clynelish, and you know that clynelish is one of the most popular whiskies around the world. It is actually one of the main malts of Johnnie Walker Gold. Now, they have actually, from memory, they have reopened this last year. This distillery, of course, is not producing anything that they can bottle yet, but that will be really interesting to see in a few years' time what the distillery will produce, if it's the old style or if it's quite new style, because, you know, these places close down for some reason, whatever it may be, and what they do with the whiskey, well, how they make the whiskey back in the day is very different to how they make it now. So let's get sniffing, let's get sipping. Cheers. Look, I'm getting a little bit of peat in there, but more so smoke and soot. I wouldn't say it's a heavily peated whiskey, but there's definitely an element of peat, an element of smoke, an element of soot, candle fire, a little bit of paraffin flame. But very delicious, got a sweetness to it. The smell is quite a sweet smell. Look, it's only 40%, but for a 40%er, it does hit you in the nose. So, you know, it punches above its 40% weight, you know, so to speak. I've got condensed apricot jam. I've got a herbal nature to the whiskey itself. When I say herbal, I'd say licorice, a little bit of aniseed, a tiny pinch of clove, sickly coconut, a bit of vanilla, and a delicious, delicious floral nature to it as well. I'm thinking jasmine flower, yeah, jasmine flower. Now I'm just gonna give it time to develop in the nose. With a whiskey like this, you really have to give it a bit of respect. I mean, you can't just drink it and chug it down. It is quite a novelty whiskey, and with that, you got to give it some time. You have to give it some you know, basically some love. I'm getting a slight minerality as it starts to develop. I'm getting a hot stone aroma. I'm getting a very fresh oak aroma as well. So I don't know what cask this is. I have no idea. I don't really care. I used to look at it and tell you about it, but now I just kind of want to nose it and taste it and tell you what I think. It's got a deep honey note to it as well. A deep honey note. Brown sugar syrup. And as I start to nose it more, it starts to breathe more, I'm getting some orange marmalade. Absolutely delicious nose. But there is the strangeness and heaviness to it that you don't get with the whiskies today. There is a slight heaviness to it. Like I said, the soot, the smokiness. That's a slight minerality and metallic-y kind of note. I don't know where that's from, but it's definitely there. Let's get sipping. The nose is very sweet, but not sweet at all. Not too sweet, shall I say. You get hit with a sickly sweetness, and it gets cut off very quickly. It's definitely got some fire to it. You can definitely get that soot, that candle smoke, wood smoke. That's what I associate with coal smoke, shall I say, maybe. Let's get sipping. For 40%, it packs a punch. It's got a really distinct flavour. It is a strange one. It's got sweetness, it's got savouriness, it's got some spice. I mean, from the get-go, I'll tell you now, even though it's 40%, it's a delicious and intriguing whiskey. However, I think that if they made it cask strength or even 46%, it would have just given that extra dimension of strength. But what am I getting? I'm definitely getting a herbal note to it. I'm getting aniseed. I'm getting licorice. I'm getting rosemary. I'm getting thyme. Definitely like a Sunday roast. A little meaty as well, and a little fatty on the palate. And but you can't escape that smoky and sootiness. And that sootiness is, I find that that sootiness is an old style whiskey. A lot of new whiskeys don't make that sootiness anymore. And I don't know what it's from. It could be just from decades and decades of distilling and smoking the kiln. But whatever it is, that sootiness is something that new whiskeys don't tend to have anymore. And so, yeah, when I taste that, it's definitely something different to your normal new release whiskeys. It's got something that I can't put my this is going to sound really strange, but when I was little, I used to drink chrysanthemum tea. So I'd go to, basically, if you had an upset stomach, you know, and Chinese remedy and, you know, like herbal remedy stuff, you get chrysanthemum tea. This reminds me a little bit of chrysanthemum tea. It's got that weird, earthy, floral kind of taste. Right in the front of the palate, but then it is followed by all that spice that I mentioned. It's got a dirtiness to it, it's got a soiliness to it. It's fantastic. It's quite exciting. It's quite an exciting whiskey. I don't know if that's a placebo because it is a rare whiskey, or I don't know if it is truly exciting. We will never know. But it is definitely an exciting whiskey. For all the different reasons, it is an exciting whiskey. Look, if you get a chance to get one of these, I would say go for it. But if you get a chance to go for a Brora and you can get a cask strength, I'd probably say rather do that, because the Broras, from what I've had in the past, they really shine when it's cask strength. I mean, when it's cask strength, they shine hugely different to what it is when it's 40%. However, I am still amazed that at 40% this whiskey can hold its own. I mean, you know, the downside about it is that the finish is not as long as I want it to be, and that usually comes with a high ABV. There's more alcohol, less diluted oils and resin, and there's, you know, just everything. All the flavor just less diluted, and the finish is longer. The finish on this is relatively short for an old-fashioned whiskey, which is quite disappointing, but it's delicious, and of course, a hell of an experience. I'd say for cigar matches for this, I'd go for a soft Cuban, nothing too strong and robust. And I wouldn't go for a New World cigar with this one, just because New World cigars tend to be really in your face and wallops you in the mouth and just a bit of a slap in the face. This one, I think, deserves a little bit more of a delicate nature cigar. But until next time, make sure you eat, smoke, drink. And if you've had Broras, many Broras in the past, let me know your thoughts. What are your thoughts on Brora? Do you like it? Do you think it's overhyped? I love it personally, also because it is a very close tie to clynelish, which is one of my favorites, so I'm going to lay that bias out right now. So this is, to me, I'm nerding out on this right now.